Today I'm going to change the impeller on a 1995 Mercury 25 horsepower two-stroke long shaft. Electric start. I'm going to start by taking the linkage off here. So don't try this with one hand, but we'll see how it goes. Should just pop out of that little plastic groove. Yeah, I need two hands. So that came out pretty easy. So I just popped it out of the front there. And note how it goes back in. It just turns and it should just come right, yep, comes right out. So that's all that is. Goes in that little groove there. And try this on the other hand. So stick it in there. So stick it in and turn it sideways. And then you just have to get it back up in that slot there. So I'm gonna leave it hang for now. Actually not, I'm gonna take it out and set it aside. So next you gotta get my finger in there, this guy, and this guy free from the starter. What I found is that I came in through here, that side. You can't see what I'm doing. I got it on there, that direction. I tried coming from this side in. I didn't have room to get in there. But that is a 10 millimeter, I believe. Always in the last spot. Yep, 10 millimeter. I got those free. So get those two out and we'll come back. So, all right, one thing to notice is that looks like the negative wire was ground to the starter. Pull that away. I loosened up that bolt back there. Don't take it out. Get this bolt out and the starter should just come out. That's that bolt. There you go. Got one more nut to take off. And so this nut here was a little bit loose, so the stem was loose. I have to use a 3/8 inch box end wrench to tighten that up a little bit. And then, like I said before, I clean this bottom of that nut up. So now I'm going to install the starter again. At least you know how to replace your starter if it ever goes out. Put your bolt back in one of your slots before you slide it in, the inner one. So you have to tighten it down once it's in there. So I've got that nut off. It was on there pretty tight. Just took some sandpaper and cleaned up that surface so it contacts better. And at this time you can move it into forward to get the linkage out of the way. Otherwise, you know, come back, put it in neutral. But for now we're gonna have it in forward so we can drop the lower unit. Next we're gonna remove the 4 bolts. Next, with a flathead screwdriver, we're gonna try to remove this retaining clip. I'm gonna try to do this through the camera, but I can't see very well. Try to ground these 2 wires together. So there it is. You're gonna want to wiggle that thing up. There. Now it has a pin on the back side of it. I choose not to lose it, so I am going to take this out and show you what it looks like afterwards. But so lift it up all the way and then pull it towards you, because at the base of it there's a pin sticking in. This is so you can drop your lower unit and disconnect the linkage. Get a better look at it. So once I have that removed, you have to. This will be like one of the last steps when you put it back together. But remember how that goes. And currently I have mine in neutral. So here's that clip. So it has a little pin on it. Just set that aside. I also cleaned up the contact on the positive wire. Just don't touch those together unless you disconnect your battery. It's a little bit of a problem. All right, so right now we're gonna raise our motor up. Put it in shallow drive. You have to lift that, but try to do this with one hand. So wrench on top, but that's okay. So the 4 bolts we're going to be removing are these 2 on this side two on the other side. And then we should be able to work this lower unit down free so we can get at the impeller. I'll let you know what size sockets those are. So that one turned out to be 5/8. Loose, pretty easy. Get a different extension on there so don't chew up the motor. Yeah, so I just got a little extension on there so I can clear the base of the skeg. And just do the same on the other side. This one was a little tight squeeze, but got it. Alright, so that dropped out pretty easy. As you're lowering it, make sure you don't lose this little washer. It's pretty easy to replace, but just watch out for that. Mine fell out. So as you can see, mine's pretty dirty. This probably hasn't been done for quite a while. What kind of shape that one's in, but I believe that just pops out. I'll show you what it looks like after I get this disassembled. So it turns out these are 10mm again. I just popped this. Looks like, I don't know if that's what that was, but I pulled that tube out. Looks like it had some grease around the bottom of it. And I'll show you what this looks like after I get this out, but make note of which way your fins are, directions they're going when you pull this cover off. So I got the 4 bolts out. Looks like there's a rubber spacer. Slide that up. I'd do it quicker, but I only got one hand. Set that aside. Here's the parts I've got off so far. I hope you get to see what we got going on down here. How's that? Know which way the fins are going. See that? There's a rubber gasket inside here. This looks, it's dirty, but I know that's dry rotted. Set that aside. And then there's the plastic here, the propeller, impeller. There should be another plastic below it. Yep. So that's the direction that came off. Let's see the fins going that way. Doesn't look quite right, but there's the plastic off that. So I'm just gonna set this down here. Take this other plastic off. There's a key that just popped out. So you're gonna need to replace that key if the kit didn't come with one. So see there, you'll just set this key back in there, and the impeller will go around it. Put it over there, and here's a wear plate. Might need a screwdriver to get that off, but there's a wear plate and there should be a gasket below that, and you'll just start reassembling things in the opposite order. Here's my kit. I'm surprised it says 25 horsepower Bigfoot 4-stroke. That surprised me. So it's from Quicksilver. I got it off Amazon. I think it was 85 bucks. So I'll compare these 2 kits and see if it is actually correct. Let you know. Anyways, that one is a B003907W1I or L. I'm not quite sure. Otherwise, I'll look on my Amazon what I actually ordered, because that's not what I ordered. Let's see what we get. So I just had to get my screwdriver underneath it here, pop it up. But the wear plate does have a gasket on the back side of it. And we'll start cleaning it up and putting things back together. I'll probably put the gasket and the wear plate back on before I start recording again. But that's what that looks like down there. Well, here's everything that came in the kit. Here's my old wear plate. It does look like an exact match, so I'm gonna go ahead with it. I did not have these. I assume they go in these holes and your bolts just set down on them. These look like the 2 drain plugs for the lower unit. New ones for that. These are the 2 plastics. There's the rubber gasket. You do get a new key. And this just goes back in here, I believe. And maybe not there. I'll have to remember where that came from. Actually, it doesn't go there. It goes in the cover. Goes right there. And there is a new O-ring here to go in here. And there's new impeller. I don't know which side matters, but I'm assuming it doesn't. So I'm going to put that side up because it's kind of funny looking. There's a spot for the key. So this gasket's going to go down first. Get set in there like that. And then the wear plate. I'm guessing those little plaque caps will go on the outside up here. I'll put the gasket in here next. And then when we had so far I put those plastic nylon washers down, the key, and then you have to line the impeller up with the key. And I'll add this other nylon washer. So that popped together pretty easy. So you just gotta get that key lined up and then slip it down in there. Note the direction of the impeller. So when I put this cover on, go down and twist it to the right a little bit so the fins are bent this way. So I had put that black rubber on in the wrong spot. I put it here by accident. Yeah, it goes over here. Just use a flathead screwdriver and just kind of push it down in there. And once it's in there, you can spin it and see if it's in there seated correctly. And don't forget your gasket. This is going on next. Just like that orientation. And then put your new rubber spacer on. What I did is I tipped it up a little bit so that I could turn the shaft in this direction. So I get the impeller blade to look like that on the inside, so the fins are pulling it back. And then we'll put the bolts in, and then we'll go on from there. Word to the wise, pull that rod shifting tip up before you put the lower unit back in. And don't lose your little washer. It's important. One helpful thing is that you hook that linkage back up on the other side so you can adjust this in order to get that pin back in. That's what I did. So that was pretty helpful. The linkage I'm talking about is this guy. Put that back in, put it in the bottom, and then turn the arm up, and then drop it back in this little rubber plastic grab, whatever, slot. It'll make your life a lot easier trying to line that up.